Hey class, my name is Joel Gober, and today I'm going to speak about the President of the United States and his use of social media, mainly Twitter. I'm going to explain today why I feel like there's really no issue in President Trump using Twitter to reach out to the American citizens the way he does. I feel like Twitter is a huge asset, is a big social media outlet for him. It was used long before President Trump came around, and he uses the media outlets that he has at his disposal to be able to connect directly to the American citizens. So I'm going to explain a couple of the reasons why I think it's okay for him to use the social media the way he does. All right, first off, Twitter is a huge social media outlet. There's 67 million users in the U.S. alone. U.S. has more users per capita than anywhere else in the world. There's 337 million users worldwide. 37% of those users are 18 to 29 year olds, and then 25% of those are 30 to 49 year olds. And of a recent poll off of statistics.org was 74% of U.S. Twitter users say they use Twitter to stay up on their current events, and 3 out of 4 users use Twitter as a media outlet. So that right there shows that you can connect with a lot of people almost instantly. Twitter was used prior to President Trump. The Obama era was actually the one that created the POTUS, the President of the United States, Twitter handle. Obama, before President Trump, Obama used Twitter during his campaign before becoming president. He earned $690 million in campaign contributions on donations online alone, mainly using social media to do that. Mitt Romney in 2008, he announced his campaign for presidency on Twitter and continued to update his Twitter during his campaign. So it's been used as a political tool long before President Trump. So he's not the only president to ever do it, and he's not the only political figure to do it. It became a huge political tool for Trump during his 2016 presidential campaign. And then President Trump uses the media outlets at his disposal to connect to the users, just like other presidents have done in the past. FDR is a prime example of that. FDR, back during World War II, shortly after the Depression and getting into World War I and into World War II, he used, not World War II, excuse me, he used radio speeches. He did 30 speeches between 1933 and 1944 in the 4 terms he held in office. 30 speeches over the radio called fireside chats. That was his way to connect to the American people. Over 90% of households during that time had radios, and they sat and listened to FDR give his fireside chats, is what it come to be known as. And he spoke on everything from banking to unemployment, all the way to the military progress in Europe. So that was everybody's way of staying connected to what was going on in the outside world. FDR used the media outlet at his disposal, which was radio, during the difficult time between the Great Depression, after the Great Depression and World War II. And Trump's doing the exact same thing now. However, without actually discussing the actual content of his tweets and his demeanor when he does them, that's a totally different subject. I do believe that social media to connect to the American people is a great tool. I believe that today's technology doesn't really make it a true threat to national security as long as military plans are not published on social media. So as long as all that's taken care of, I don't see it to be a threat to national security, and I think it's a great way for Trump to be able to connect to the American people. As I said earlier, that doesn't include what he puts in his tweets. That's a totally different topic in itself. But I do think it's a good idea that he uses Twitter and is able to connect to the 67 million plus users that we have in the U.S. today. This is my argumentative speech on Twitter, and I hope you enjoyed it.